for today's cup of coffee with Scream.
Memory
Extra Scream.
going out from the laptop.
Mercury and Mayonnaise has hit me square in the laptop. Yeah. And it's like planned obsolescence sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we were discussing back in the old days, in the stone age of internet and computers, you could switch this shit out yourself.
Mm-hmm. It was easily accessible and easily, like, computers were easily customizable back then.
It used to be like cars where you actually screwed a new light bulb
I won't say that.
Headlight in.
Not all pre-built computers. We remember the Barbie PC. We remember the Hot Wheels PC. That was a little square thing. All that shit just jam-packed. You could not get hardly any parts out of it.
And now they're all built like that.
And then some. They're fucking glued together rather than actual screws. And then you gotta bend the case because they're all made out of fucking aluminum. They're taken after Apple. It's a whole lot of fuckery.
Yeah. And it's like, I have appalled my children. Well, that's happened more than once, but
you didn't appall me.
When you're like, it's something about this paste, this special glue, and I'm like, duct tape.
Well, we were definitely.
Yeah, Appalachian engineer, that son of a bitch.
No,
duct
it looks.
tape.
No, we've already been there, done that. It looks janky and feels janky.
Don't care.
It does not last.
Oh. Duct tape is good for many, many things.
Not for computers.
I don't know.
I promise you that it's not good for computers. I've seen this shit. I've seen the builds from like the back in the day, like late 90s, early 2000s. I've seen that one fucker that was in his basement taped his shit together.
Did it work?
We don't know. It looked like shit.
It didn't matter how it looked. Did it work?
I don't fucking know. We were all of everyone that saw it was appalled. Be like, that was your build.
It doesn't matter.
That's what you decided to do.
If it worked and if it did what it was supposed to do, it didn't matter how it looked.
It had good air circulation. I will say that.
That's important.
Shit.
That is important. But honestly,
it had no safety. If a cat jumped on that thing, it was fucked.
Yeah. I think that's most things.
At least a cat can jump on that case and it will be fine.
Oh.
I mean,
But honestly, this is one of these, and you know, when you get a computer in Walmart or any place like that, you're not getting top of the line.
No, and it's
because most of us don't honestly need top of the line.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it's never been like their stuff has been okay, but pre-built stuff that you can buy in Walmart, Target, stuff like that, it's never been good. It's been consumer based, like for the everyday user.
Yeah.
The top of the line stuff still costs like over $1,000.
Of course it does. Of course it does. There's a distinction. I am nerd. I am not geek.
Well, that's the thing.
I wish that I had been geek, but I just ended up with nerd.
Well, you're not a gamer either. So most of the time, the people that were buying like the $1,000 PCs or even more so, they were like severe tech nerds.
Yes,
and gamers. So they needed that power.
Yes, they're the ones that use Linux and knows about bitrate on everything and can spot a pixel when it's the wrong color.
I watched this girl explain. Like, she described every single Linux user.
Oh, God.
Basically, if you use this version of Windows, or this version of Linux, you're this way. If you use this way, you're this way. It's accurate. It is accurate.
I'm sure.
It's like, what flavor of autism are you? And that's her flavor of autism right there. She's like one of these people that codes and goes into the thing and all that shit. Like,
I admire those people. That is the specialized, weaponized, happy white hat autism. That's a superpower. I do not have that. I have the neurospicy ADHD. I just want the shit to work. Mm-hmm. That's it. I will go down many rabbit holes, but that one just, you know, that the tech left me in the dust because I was trying to live life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, as far as Kim Commando, and I can't remember what other dude's name was that had their shows, I watched it every time it was on. I can't remember. He's got white hair. Of course, hell, all of us do.
Tech
now.
TV.
Yeah.
I love that show. I loved that channel.
Yes. And it had some really good stuff, and
It
that
really
was
did.
back in the day when you had to worry about, the emails that had the viruses and stuff like that.
The pop-ups.
The pop-ups were horrible.
And back then, malware.
We had dial-up.
Like back then, it was like, oh fuck, malware. Malware is on my computer. Now it's the Trojan horses and those really insidious viruses, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's stuff that...
Malware is easy to deal with
But
now.
honest to God, and I have heard this before, and it would not surprise me that even with some of the security programs that you can get, that those people will install stuff. Now, I'm not accusing anybody, but I have heard rumors that they will install stuff so that you have to upgrade your packages to, your whatever.
I can believe that. I can believe that. If I do, when I do the Windows install thing, I will not do that to you. I promise. I will get rid as much bloatware that Windows comes from as possible.
Well, you and your brother can do all that. I just want it, when I open it back up, I want it to be able to work. But it's like, it always would have, I called them seizures. Very shortly after I got it years ago, and I think I got this in maybe like 2020. So by tech standards, it's a dinosaur, because I think it used to be 6 months and everything was already, obsolete. Yeah, and it's probably less than 6 months now.
It's like fucking Apple putting it. They just brought out the iPhone 16 and then they released the iPhone 17 within the same year. There's no difference, except one's slightly downgraded.
That's crazy.
But it has USB-C.
But
you got one camera lens now instead of the 3, but you got USB-C.
But like I said, it's one of these that it's probably a Monday computer, and it would always have seizures. But over the past month or so, it had got to where, like when I would do videos, and I have an external hard drive that I save those on and stuff, and as far as the compression, I just save the original. I don't go as far as I don't do the external hard drive. I don't save the ones that's highly compressed, because there's no point. And it got to where I could do like 1 or 2 videos, and I was having to use the external hard drive. And I'm like, something is really, really wrong. Mm-hmm. So I went back, cleared out the history. That was a nightmare, to have to try to go back and reset certain things.
Yeah, put in different passwords and try to figure those out.
This shit. And even as far as, the cache is supposed to clear itself after so many days. All right?
Right.
I've already got the settings and stuff on that. I'm not totally tech illiterate. But then yesterday it started doing this thing about the hard drive, and I'm like,
yeah, it was giving fatal error.
Yeah, it was like the ring of death, but not.
At least it's on right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. And so thank God that I have 2 tech kids. And it's like they were speaking a separate language. I was sitting over here listening to them, and it's like, and it's like they're speaking Klingon.
It is its own language, seriously.
It is.
And I understand, and when you don't know, when you're not really that much of a tech nerd, and because I'm not, I just know basic shit for the most part.
You replaced a battery in an Apple laptop. I don't want to hear it.
That
was
simple.
Supposed to not be able to be done. And you used that laptop for years.
Yeah, and now it's shitting out again on me, so it's like I can't use it anymore.
But at least it's not bloated. It was bloated.
Yeah, the
and
fucking battery was about to explode
up.
on it, and
Please
it's like,
don't get blowed up.
I got that. Sister-in-law gave that to me, and she's like, "Yeah, it won't close. The screen is bent." It's like, no,
the battery's blowing.
Literally, it's about to blow. The keyboard and the keyboard never worked properly ever again. Ever since then, the E key was my enemy.
How is it that oldest kid didn't notice that?
I don't think he really paid attention. I don't think. And maybe, and if he did, he was just like, well, I'm fixable. But no, I was willing to go in there.
Yeah.
If I could, dead ass, if I could, I would upgrade one of those old iMac G3s.
Mm-hmm.
Those really pretty, like, tube, the ones that were like in one, all-in-one chassis.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still this tube monitor in it.
Yeah.
If I could replace the motherboard and everything else in it and have that shit
They were
fit in
cool.
it. Yeah.
They were
I
cool as
would.
hell when they came out. That was just amazing.
Yeah, I would have Ethernet put into it, Wi-Fi. Now, some of them did have Wi-Fi, but it was that shit Wi-Fi. It was that early Wi-Fi, so it's like, oh, God.
Is Alienware still a thing? I always wanted
They
an
are,
Alienware computer.
I think they are still,
I don't know what
but I
kind
think
of,
it has become a lot like, I don't remember what the black and white. It was a black and white cube. That and Gateway. I think it was a lot.
Oh my God, the cow.
Yeah, I think it was a lot like what happened to Gateway, where they just sold the IP of it and then they started like third party stuff.
What type of operating system did it work on?
Windows.
Was it Windows still?
Yeah.
God, that's just crazy. But if you can keep me on Windows 10, I don't know how much longer I can even stay on Windows 10.
I was gonna say, like, if you wanted to upgrade, like, you were looking at new laptops, and I was like, those got Windows 11, and they operate very similar to, at least the layout is very similar to Apple, and Apple is held to learn from a Windows user who transferred over to Apple's OS, and then went back to Windows. I will rather fuck with Windows any day than Apple's OS.
I told you.
The only reason I liked that computer was for GarageBand and CapCut.
It's like Apple has been up their own ass for a very long time. And as far as to where that only their people could work on their equipment, that ain't right. That was never right.
No, and it's almost impossible to get into the computers now. But it is possible to get older models and still upgrade them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I was looking at the one that's called the Sunflower or the Lamp, which is that one that had the round base with the arm and the flat screen and it swiveled.
Right.
But due to the shape of the motherboard and the shape of the chassis in general, that thing's basically almost impossible to put a new motherboard in that would be worth anything.
Right. I mean, other than just doing it as for shits and giggles, there was no way that it would actually be functional.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless you got like one of those like Mac Minis, which are about like 4x4 square, 5x5 square, whatever the fuck, and then shove that in it. Well, shit. Why do that?
Right.
I want the original chassis. I want the disk drive, all that.
That was the whole thing, to have the whole essence of it.
I was livid when they got rid of the disk drives and laptops.
Yeah.
Livid.
Yeah. There was no need for it. I mean, absolutely not. It's like, I do not like forced upgrades or changes or any of this shit on tech. I have never liked it. I like physical medium.
Yeah.
I like to be able to burn a CD. We still use CDs because they have their purpose.
Right. I like to have something that is physical, like a thumb drive, a CD, something.
Thumb drives, even though that's not physical. You can't
you
touch
can
it. I need tangible.
Well, it's not like, yeah, you can touch the thumb drive. You can flick it in and out, in and out, whatever. It's like this. You can't touch the data that's on the CDs.
Right.
You can touch the actual disc. It's the same thing. It's just in a different format.
It's crazy. I love it. It's just crazy. So having to try to deal with that, and it's just like, well,
oh God, the nerd is showing. The nerd is showing.
It's okay. Our people understand this. I know that they've had the same problems. They probably will respond by saying, yes, I had this problem. And as far as people going, it's like kids, like, are you still using laptop? Yes, because I need larger screen. The people that do these things, yes, we got the desktop. That's
you need larger screen.
Yes, but that's primarily for gaming, and that's where you have been for a minute.
Well, that's just so I could
your
have
spot.
That's just so I could sit in here with you.
Well, it works. It works. But as far as everybody doing things on their cell phones, those small screens with older eyes don't jive. Flat out. Don't work. And I don't trust cell phones as far as doing transactions. I do not go out and about and buy anything. It's like we've got secure Wi-Fi here in the house.
Listen, those phone transactions.
Don't do transactions other than that.
I'm coming from experience. Those phone transactions will fuck you up. If you have a subscription that you forgot about, and it's kind of difficult to get to your subscriptions on Apple anyway. At least for me it was. I had to figure out how to get to it and all that, and it's just like, oh shit, now I'm overdrawn because I got this one thing that I thought I canceled. Like, I remember clicking cancel on it and accepting that, and it never canceled, so I had to go back and cancel it again, and then call the company, be like, give me my $80 back.
Oh yeah. And this is part of this invisible world that we've been thrust into, and I don't like it.
Yeah, no. I want to go to a store and give them cash money.
Yeah.
I will not write a check for the life of me. I would rather die than write a check.
Well, a check anymore, what they do, they run it through a machine and they hand it back to you.
Yeah, so then what's the point of it?
It's the same damn thing as using a debit card. It really is.
Then what's the point? Just use a debit card.
Yeah. Well, I explained that when it took Mom a very long time. My God, bless her heart. She's 80 years old and trying to deal with all this.
I mean, first...
It's just a totally different realm of existence. Huh?
It can be very brain breaking for them. And incredibly frustrating. That's the main thing. It's mainly frustrating for them, which is not... It's not...
I think
it's not supposed to be like that.
One of the worst things for her is not understanding as far as what we were talking about, the obsolescence of the equipment.
Like her computer, it's an all-in-one computer that's like over...
God, she never needed that.
It's 10 years old now.
Oh, it's more than that.
Yeah. And now it's running like you got a brick tied to your leg, like a cement block.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And to explain to her, it's old. I just got it. No, honey, that is not how that works. Not in today's world.
She's like, I just got it. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah, it probably was 15 years ago.
So it wasn't that you just got it. That was...
Right. It's her ability to process time is different now.
Now, I will say the newer all-in-one computers, they're better than they were back then.
She doesn't need touchscreen.
You can get ones now. I don't know who convinced her to get a touchscreen one. Fuck, they just upselled her. That's the only... I know for a damn fact, because I was right there. I was right there in the midst of it. They had ones that had no touchscreen.
Yeah.
They have ones now that are not touchscreen.
Yeah. But they convinced her that she needed that. And it's like, no, I do not like sales people that do that, because most of those people are working on commission. Best Buy, many years ago, you could take whatever into the store and they had a tech there that could repair the shit. This was many years ago, because I'm old, and it's like when they got to this, bring it to the store, we'll ship it back to the manufacturer. No, because again, if you've got somebody in your area that does repair stuff, support that business.
Yes.
The ones in our area are so swamped all the time.
We don't even have
to repair stuff.
We don't even have a tech repair store in town anymore.
No, you have to go to Bristol.
Yeah. Now,
it's been crazy. But what we've got on the screen, that has nothing to do with computers in any way. People are like, my God, they've missed the fries and the bag.
Yeah. Well, it's like we're talking
completely
about tech stuff and you got a snake on the screen. It might as well just pop up like a like one of those old iMacs, like from the 90s that had the X eyes and the frowny face.
Yeah. I still use some of those instead of the emoji things. I use the keyboard.
Oh, I do too. It's instilled in some of us.
Just leave it. There is nothing wrong with it. It's modern hieroglyphics.
I miss the original emoticons. Like the when they first came on the screen, like the original emoticons. I like those a lot better than the new ones now. The new ones just look cheesy and stupid.
Yeah, well.
The other ones had whimsy to them, and I like that they're a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the DeviantArt emoticons were just awesome.
Oh, I'm sure they were. What's on the screen? It's in some ways it can very much relate to the tech issues, and I will put a link in the description box in Daily Mail. And James Cirrone, something like that, on December the 8th of 2024. Florida's having problems, and what you are seeing is a Burmese python eating a deer, a whole deer.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I thought it ate a human.
Well, if it can eat a deer, it could certainly, as far as humans.
Yeah, but it's got the deer.
And in some of these areas,
on it.
That has happened.
Yeah.
And so they're having a severe problem. And so these things have got into the Florida Everglades. And it says that what this was a 115.2 pound female python that was consuming a 77 pound white-tailed deer. Yeah. When you got a snake that weighs more than a deer, that's horrifying in and of itself.
Who released a bunch of pythons?
Well, they think that what had happened was that these people came in with these exotic, they thought it was cool that they had a snake. Until the snake got huge and 200 pounds. And so instead of them calling somebody and letting them do something with that snake, they turned it out. This is what has happened. And so now these things are just everywhere down there. They're eating alligators.
No! Huh! The snakes are eating alligators.
Uh-huh.
Damn, I thought it would
For
be
real.
I figured it would be the other way around.
Nope.
How the fuck do they eat an alligator? How do they even catch it?
Well, it's one of those that these snakes don't have their mouth, they don't have a hinge. And so it is like something out of a fucking horror movie that they just how do I even say, encase it?
They're like the demons from Smile, where it opens its mouth so fucking wide.
And just keeps opening and opening and opening.
Well, eventually, and then it opens whoever it's possessing, it will literally rip their jaw open and then start going into them, and no one else can see it but the person that it's happening to.
And in the story where we've got the picture from it, they had the video.
That's some live leak shit.
It's crazy. But yeah, they have, as far as alligators, different things like that. And what has happened on some of this, I mean, these things are huge. Huge. And they're saying here, as far as that the snakes, that they can, let's see, it says estimated that if one of these snakes ate just one deer as big as they could swallow, it would amount to more than 13,000 pounds of deer. And it says, to put that in perspective, the average American eats 224 pounds of red meat and poultry in a year. So they're consuming more than a person would by many times.
Yeah, they need to be dealt with ASAP. Somebody needs to get their snakes.
What they're going to do if they would put a bounty on them, and even then, because the rate at which these things reproduce, one of the females can lay many eggs.
It's over 100 eggs, I think. Maybe I may be incorrect on that.
I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. It says that they have, over the past 12 years, that the Conservancy's Burmese Python research team has tagged 120 snakes with radio tags, And they have also removed 770 adults from a 150 square mile area in Southwest Florida. That's not that much.
No.
770 of them.
Shit.
It says that they can grow up to be 200 pounds and grow as long as 20 feet.
20 feet? Mm-hmm. That's if they keep up with them. They will only... I'm sure they can get bigger than that. That's
probably
up.
That was they are calculating that's about the size that they had gotten when people had let them out of their cages. And so you've got people...
I'm thinking of these things like adapting into becoming like one of those dinosaur snakes, like huge snakes.
Well, they are huge snakes.
Like bigger than human snakes.
They are.
Like as far as the head, it would be about as big as our head, or like bigger.
Yeah. And because these things, not everything is supposed to be every place. And you've got some of these people, it's like, oh, well, think of the conservation. No, bullshit. No.
They're not indigenous to that area.
They're not. And if it is an invasive species, which this is, it needs to be eradicated.
Yes.
And you've got these people, it's like, oh, well, don't kill it, don't kill it, don't kill it. Look, in nature, that's how the whole, cycle of life that people talk about.
You could feed so many people with snake meat.
Oh, ew.
Think of all the hats and the boots and the cool shit that you can make with the skins.
People have gotten so weak, they don't want to do what needs to be done. And you've got a bunch of fucking whiners that are stupid people that bitch at the people who want to do and need to do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, somebody's going to have to grow some balls and tell these stupid people to sit down and shut up. So what if they go out here with a sign and it goes on the national news or on X or whatever? It's like, okay, fine. I tell you what, you love the snakes. Let's put them all in your house. You can have all of the snakes. You could be the keeper of the snakes, but we're going to put this giant aquarium thing. We're going to put this dome, like the flat earthers think is over everything. We're going to put it over just your section, you and the snakes.
You gotta live in a bubble.
You can have what you want.
Mm-hmm. Snake-filled bubble. Now listen.
People are wore out. They really are wore out with the stupid people.
Oh, yeah.
They're over it.
Oh, yeah, very much. Some of those stupid people are getting smacked down, but that's...
Yeah, well, we knew it was going to happen. Humans have their limit. Empathy and compassion has been abused.
Like, why would you even want a python to begin with, just to be like, oh, look at the snake that I got?
It was a status thing.
Why not just be happy with a little corn snake? At least they're friendly.
Like I said, it's always one of these things. Why not leave these creatures where they're supposed to be?
Listen, I like my hamster. I will not.
Well, the hamster was different.
I was
saving him. Yeah, those little guys were their food in the wild.
Yeah, so it's like, you ain't gonna be food today, bud.
Right. That is totally different than these pythons and stuff. These are predators. Mm-hmm. And just because somebody wanted to look like that, it's like somebody think that they're a badass. Okay, badass, go out there and get it. You let it go. You need to go out there and you need to get it, and all the other ones it reproduced. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if you're down in Florida and the Everglades and stuff, watch yourself. Watch the trees. Watch
everything.
Mm-hmm. Machete. Seriously.
Oh, I know. I just thought of machete kills. But
that is one of the things that is very effective. But even on that, once it wraps around you...
Oh, you're fucked.
You're fucked. Yeah.
Well, unless it wraps around you and then someone comes along and then chops its head off.
Even then, it would crush. I would say that it would crush your ribs and stuff. You got to realize
by that point
the brain,
you would be dead anyway.
The brain has only got, it can only go without oxygen maybe 3 or 4 minutes before there's severe brain damage. In theory. There's recent research that says that may not be so.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, humans, we kind of need the oxygen. And if you've got large snake wrapped around your body where you cannot breathe, that's a claustrophobic thing along with snake phobia.
Yeah.
That's just every way of bad. But you could make some damn good boots out of the hide.
That's what I'm saying. Think of the stuff they could make out of the skins.
People be going, you an animal? No, fuck that. No.
They're the same people
here.
They're the people that are bitching about the snake skin is the same people. Listen, I understand they're endangered species. It was an antique coat, and I understand that this is an outdated reference from 2006. The colobus monkey fur coat should not have been a big deal considering it was an antique coat.
You've got people
because dude like said that it was gorilla. You can look at it and be like, that's not fucking gorilla, or at least anyone with some sense.
Again, with the stupid people. It seems to be there's a correlation between the more stupid a person is, the bigger their mouth is. Yeah. It's that Dunning-Kruger thing where stupid people don't realize they're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, final thoughts.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
God, Mercury and mayonnaise and all this other stuff. Everything's in fucking retrograde. And it's like, oh. That's the flavor of Scream for today. It just, oh.
Yeah.
Prayers are appreciated, please.
Her laptop will be fixed. She ordered the SSD for it, so hopefully it'll come by the end of the week.
Prayers.
Hopefully.
And God loved, like I said, those people. If you are one of the people that's brilliant enough to be able to use Linux and to be geek, that is a term of affection by me, because as far as nerd, that's different. We're lower on the food chain.
Get this. When I was at the Wilson Center, and they were doing like all the tests and seeing like they put like me in cosmetology, they put me in the tech section too. The only reason I failed that tech section was the math.
Yeah. And that is so hard. That was the reason I didn't go into some kind of research science.
But the thing is, to install hardware on just to make repair people's computers, to build them or whatever, I do not need to know the math.
No, you don't. I've told you that before. Even as far as electronics and stuff, that's a different language. Those schematics and stuff, that is a separate language. And with basic math skills. Most people do not need to, unless they're going into some kind of, profession like engineering or something, most people don't need to know algebra or trig or any of that stuff. They need to wait and teach them that kind of math when they get there. But as far as requiring geometry for GED and stuff like that, that is bullshit.
It is.
I mean, my God, these people, they're not teaching these kids anything nowadays. They're indoctrinating.
Well, even the basic math, it's not basic anymore. They have to do all this other they have to go around and about to get the answer. And it's like, dude, 2 plus 2 equals 4. You add up 2 1s together and you got 2. Yeah. You add up 2 2s together and then you got 4.
And sometimes
that's simple.
When you're new or spicy, you have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you don't know exactly how you got the answer. What does it matter as long as you get the answer?
Right.
Enough of this bullshit.
There was this one girl that was trying to say, no, 2 plus 2 equals 6, and then she was going around that. And
God.
It's like, dude.
Please let
stupid
natural
people.
Selection. It makes my hair hurt. Everybody's having paranormal and supernatural. Everybody.
Everyone.
Rebuke and bind the spirit of stupid off people. They need it. Like I said, pray for us. We need it. I need it. I need it. You want to tell them where we can be found?
We can be found on BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube at Orlando's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, Orlando COCWS.
Yeah.
Go check her out. She's got a fucking cool page, damn it.
I'm pretty active over there. Every now and then I'll read something and I'm going, my God, I actually wrote that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, Mama!
It's like, stop that.
Oh no!
You did.
Oh,
You went there.
She said it.
Yes.
She said an out-of-pocket thing.
No, it's not
oh
out-of-pocket.
shit! Damn, I've never heard her speak like that in a day of my life, but now I'm seeing it. That's why I was so scared of letting you on my social media, but it's not that bad on my end.
No.
Of course, you don't look on my page anyway.
No, I
so
don't. That's boundaries, so I left it there.
You're like, you don't look on my page. You don't look on my page. You don't look on mine.
I'm very selective.
Your own son is part of that select not. Damn. The rejection.
It's not rejection. It is a matter of, as far as parents and kids on social media and stuff like that. Sometimes people do and sometimes they don't.
Listen, if Robert has to be inundated with doll shit, you should be too.
Anyhow, know that you are loved. Treat other people the way that you would like to be treated. And Lord willing, truly, we will see you on the next cut.
Yes.
Bye.